What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode here at We Are Kenami. We're currently in episode 2, and in today's topic, we're actually going to be talking about managing holiday stress. There's actually two
Mhm.
speakers in today's episode. We have our main speaker from season 1, we have Varun, and we have a
Hello.
special guest. We have a special guest today. We have
Hmm.
Andre. Okay.
Yes.
So before we
How's it
get,
going?
yes, sorry about that. I cut you off. That's my bad.
No, it's all good.
I got too excited. That's my bad. But before we get started, we're briefly going to be talking about the history of like the whole holiday season, the stress that comes into it. I won't be the one hosting this one, so drum rolls. No one's doing it. It's just me. Oh, my
I'm
dog.
doing it.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
doing it.
Ready? Are you ready? So, Veron,
Ready.
whenever you're ready, let's get to it.
Awesome. I think I just want to point out that as we find the nights stretching longer and longer and the days getting shorter, it's a common thing to find comfort and warmth in certain kinds of community rituals and holidays, which celebrate the seasonal change and celebrate different ideas about the winter season. I have a couple holidays that start way back from pagan times, like the Yule Norse festival, Saturnalia, Shabda Yalda from Persian myth, and the Dongzi festival from Chinese mythology. And then we even have like Aboriginal holidays like the Dogon solstice festivals in Mali, in Africa, Zulu festivals, American indigenous festivals like the Soyal, Hopi, and Zuni tribe festivals, winter counts in the Lakota and Dakota tribes. And there's also Australian Aborigine festivals like the solstice ceremonies in various different groups. Then that all connects us to like the way that these classical pagan or prehistoric celebrations of seasonal change connect us to myths and legends that we practice today, which people know of in like Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, and in my own faith, Diwali, which connects to this one major story of the victory or triumph of light over darkness. This is a theme we see in many cultures across winter holidays, and also the kinds of traditions that we share, like the fireworks, which we have from, Chinese festivals, have
Hmm.
spread all across the world during winter time because it's a way of kind of like sparking the environment with warmth and energy so that people stay motivated, people stay energized, people can celebrate the community and the season instead of falling into the cold kind of like sluggishness that can come with winter, the kind of slowing down that all creatures experience during this kind of hibernation season. But with it can come a kind of seasonal depression or ennui, and I think that's one thing that we need to remember, that the seasonal traditions and celebrations are about something bigger than us. Because in our own lives, the winter can have a lot of negative connotations. But if
Mhm.
you look at it in the nature around you, in the creatures and in the environment around you, in the celestial happenings around you in nature, it's actually a really beautiful time to celebrate one of the many different phases that we see in seasons around the world. So I know in the northern hemisphere, it's a little different than the southern. So I think right now it's getting warmer for them. But for
Hmm.
people in the north, we're going to start celebrating our winter holidays and get-togethers. And I think it's important to touch on those traditions because we can get lost in the commercial aspects or the material or the social aspects, and we can feel left out
Yep.
and we feel lonely and we can feel like this isn't about us. But actually, it's been so much bigger than modern commercial ideas. It goes back to prehistoric times. So there's so much to celebrate about it, even on your own.
Mm-hmm. Which is true because we're like you said, we're focusing so much on the material, so much about rushing to buy gifts for the family and friends that we forget to focus in the moment, the gatherings, building memories, like all of the beauty of what Christmas is all about. We're forgetting that. And because of
Yep.
we're discussing in this episode how to manage those holiday stresses. So it's like it's really good for you to give that kind of information, well, like the history behind it, because I'm pretty sure not a lot of people really focus on that and why. why it's such a big thing, especially in North America. Like
Yeah.
it's a big thing.
Yep.
So yes, I appreciate you for taking the time to do your research, for speaking out on all of this. Andre, do you have anything else to say, like with everything that he was talking about?
Yeah,
Anything?
like holidays nowadays, it's like it's more commercial, more about Black Friday. If you notice, everything's about buy, 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 buy,
Yes,
and giving gifts and stuff like that. And it's just like a lot of people, they just go through pressure of just like, oh, I gotta get this, I gotta get that, or if I don't get this person this gift, I got this person this gift. Or they feel out and stuff like that. It's just a lot of pressure.
it is, and
And
Mhm.
it's interesting because even when they try and make it fun, what's those two games called? Like the White Elephant and Secret Santa, I believe. Like
Secret Santa.
Secret Santa, yep.
and I think there's one also called like White Elephant or whatever. It's where like people snatch certain gifts without knowing what's inside. I
You can
think it's
steal or yeah, you can steal or pass on a gift. Like
yeah.
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 Even I find that's giving a lot of pressure for a lot of people because even though they're saying, let's just say someone's like, hey, it's a $20, $30 budget, people are still freaking out. Like they're still being stressed. And it's supposed to be something fun, right?
Mhm.
Especially
Yeah.
during work gatherings or friends gathering. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be silly. But for some reason, people are overthinking on the gift. And again,
Yep.
getting like, hey, I'm in the moment. Like, let's make it fun. Like, let's laugh. Let's take a picture with how stupid our gifts could be. But no,
Yep.
so fixated on the opposite thing.
But
So
People forget
that's
about
also some of
getting
the
together.
negative.
Yep.
Yeah. But the
yeah,
one problem is like, oh, I didn't get the gift I wanted, or I couldn't give the gift I wanted to give, or like then that becomes another like, competition.
Hmm.
And I think like again, for our listeners and viewers, guys, like it's just a game. Like
Yeah.
fun with it. You're on a budget. Like get all the these mini little things on that budget. Don't overthink it.
Don't overthink. Don't overstress. It's
Yeah.
people that go into debt every year because of just gifts or just buying stuff that sometimes people can't even afford and they still get it. And it's like they run into depression or, all types of stuff just because the
That
holidays.
that too, but
Yeah.
I I noticed well, I know for myself, and I'll speak, I'm gonna be very transparent with you guys. When I was growing up, and I'm pretty sure you guys have gone through the same as kids, the excitement of gifts was always there, the excitement. But as I got older, I guess I had expectations of what my gifts would be that I couldn't fake my excitement anymore. Because
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
parents like when you grow up even as teenagers or like young adults, like parents don't really know what to get you anymore because it's different interests or one thing an interest could be there and then it changes the
Hmm.
next. They would always get me like certain clothes that I was never grateful for. But now I'm fucking wearing them. Like now I'm like shit, man. Thank God I have it in my closet. Like this is
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So it's like not only do we have the pressure of buying gifts, but I think like for the people who are receiving gifts, we also need to be grateful that that person even thought about us.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They went out their way. They probably overdone their budget. Maybe they didn't have enough, but they still got you something. So it's like
It's the thought that counts. Yep.
exact, exactly, exactly.
Yep.
So
Yep.
continue on. We're going to be talking about, sorry, I'm looking at my camera, like not my camera, on my computer as we're
Hmm.
going, but I'm just looking through the list because there's a lot to talk about for this episode. Um, so with everything that we're going through with the whole holiday season and stuff like that, because we're about to enter Christmas, I believe in like a week and a half, maybe in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I think 2 weeks. 2 weeks
Is
away.
I think it would yeah.
it's in 2 weeks,
When this
right?
comes out, it'll be like 2 weeks. Yeah,
Yep.
this comes out.
Yeah, it's we're coming in close.
2 weeks from tomorrow. Yep.
What my question here is within this topic, common causes of holiday stress. Is there anything that you guys are currently going through that you want to express? Or if not, are there any types of tips or advice you want to give to our listeners or viewers?
I do want to say one thing is connecting back to my previous point. I think having context overall of what we should be appreciating and enjoying during every season is
Hmm.
gonna give people a better idea because when you live in a small bubble and live in one concept or one idea, it's easy to get stuck in the winter blues,
Mm-hmm.
to get upset with um I think the main stressors probably we can talk about the basic ones like making sure you get the right gifts, preparing your home and everything for your family and guests. And but I think two of the main stressors what are kind of funny because they're almost opposites in a way.
Okay.
One is people who feel lonely during the holidays, and the other is people who feel like they're forced to spend time with certain relatives or in-laws or something that they don't want to.
Hmm.
So both ways, people feel like they're socially not getting what they want for the holiday. One group feels like, which I think is a pretty significant group, because they do say that around Christmas time is when depression spikes a lot
Hmm.
Yes.
during the year because
Yes.
of the loneliness group, winter included. Like I discussed earlier. But I think the loneliness issue and the issue of having to spend time with people you might not necessarily get along with, those are two major problems during the holidays, which I think people
Yeah.
definitely deal.
Yeah,
So
like now it's like as the days get darker, like I noticed today at like 2:30, it was already like almost dark outside. And going back to like you have like family you probably haven't seen in years or haven't spoken to in years visit. Now they're here and it's like it's just an awkward feeling because you don't know what to talk about or what to say because you haven't seen them probably 10, 20 years, you know? And then it's like now you gotta sit around and you gotta be around them and it's awkward, you know?
that, but it's also the pressure
Uh,
of, I guess, impressing your family members just
Yeah.
so that your life is together and they're not judging. Because sometimes
Hmm.
you have parents that are very old school and traditional that
Yep.
when you questions, you're like, oh my God, like I'm this age and I don't have this, this, and this. What did
Yeah.
they say? So I can understand how that's very stressful for certain.
Hmm.
Again, speaking for myself, for the past few years, because both my parents separated, it's holidays for us are no longer the same. It's pretty depressing, I won't lie.
Hmm.
Because before, like it used to be very, I guess like the sparks were there, the excitement, like you felt like that warmth, that holiday spirit and
You knew what to expect. That was
exactly,
yeah.
because we're we're
Yeah.
we're with family, right? It doesn't mean
Hmm.
I'm always surrounded by big family. I mean, just like with my parents, my brothers, it was always fun. But now that
Hmm.
have changed in the household, it's quiet. My brothers don't want to spend time like that anymore. My mom loves holidays.
Yeah.
She's not getting that thrill anymore. And it's just sad to see, right? You see
Hmm.
things were like on a high and then it's just like slowly just dying down and stuff like that. And
Yeah, you used to seeing everyone there, and I was like,
exactly. And or just
there's like three
right?
people there.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Or even just the thought of my dad's not around. Like
Hmm.
like he's not around. So it just sucks like for me thinking about like what is he doing during the holidays? I wouldn't know. Maybe he's having a blast. I don't know. But for me,
Yeah.
I miss just that surroundings. And I hope eventually that changes. But you're not
Hmm.
wrong, like especially when you talked about feeling lonely or the pressure of being around people. For me, it's feeling lonely. Like
Hmm.
I always tell myself, man, like I hope one day I can have so many children so that like the is big and fun all over again. Has nothing
Yeah.
with gifts, is just more of just spending time with one another, just la-
Being around your loved one. Yeah.
exactly, just laughing about the most randomest things and stuff like that, right?
Hmm.
But I'm actually really happy that you brought that up because that's actually something that we don't really think about. We think so much about the finances and just trying to be in so many gatherings at once that this is the last thing that we even think about. So yeah,
Hmm.
I appreciate you for mentioning
I,
that.
I
And
mean, I
he's with my dog.
I just want to say, hey, Ruckus, I noticed that especially for people who are like 90s kids, we can see this. Definitely 80s kids can see this. But uh, getting together, taking flights, driving 3, 4, 5 hours every, holiday to get together with relatives was much more normal back then than now. I don't know if the convenience of talking on your smartphone with people overseas, maybe
Hmm.
that's what broke that line. But I feel like nowadays people are less likely to go through the traffic or the flights like they used to back in the day, like the
Mm,
way relative. It's still hustle and bustle. People are still busy on the holidays,
yeah,
but like you
I
said,
think.
there's absolutely a change. When you grow up, there is that kind of
that
Hmm.
split.
because things are overpriced.
Yeah.
plane tickets and stuff are overpriced.
Gas
True,
is
no, true, you're right.
expensive.
Gas is
No,
expensive.
flights were cheaper in the 90s and the seats were bigger in the 90s, and
It was just
now
more.
it's the opposite.
It's just like it was bigger. Like they actually take
Mhm.
care of you. You're not limited with luggages. It's just different times now. And I don't know, man. Like I
I
don't know.
think it's more of the convenience of, like you said, smartphones, the computers, the all the apps, messaging apps. You can just FaceTime somebody from anywhere, and they're right there. And it's just like
Yeah,
instead of being in person, you can be on the phone for, let's say, 6 hours, 8 hours a day
That's
with that
it.
person instead of visiting
yeah.
them. You can go anywhere out in the street, the
I
store,
mean,
wherever. You know.
I think that'd be cool too, like having like if your friends and your family all jump on a group call and you just put it up on like your smart TV and like you guys
Hmm.
spend the whole Christmas day together doing your, Christmas rituals, getting ready in the background and everyone's just coming in and out of the chat. I think maybe that affords a kind of new thing, but I do think that's something we can do. That's a positive thing in technology. But like you said, overall, the way human behavior is, a lot of us are less social. I think the one thing I noticed is when you grow up, you're more mature. You can see the reality of what's going on in the family dynamic. As a
Mm,
kid, you didn't know any of the politics. You
yes.
didn't know anything. It was just the adults have it. They're in charge. They got it under control. I
Yeah.
just run around everyone's legs
All they
and
say is like, "Let's go, pack a bag, let's go." That's it.
yeah,
Now
like
it's like,
all the relatives are there and they're entertaining and they're telling you stories and playing games and you sit down board games and card games and your uncle teaches you this joke and that joke and you're just running around everyone's legs and
Mhm.
people are getting drunk and people are so you don't see everything behind the scenes. When you're older and you're on the same level and you're also holding the glass, then you look around and realize the gossip, the
Yes.
backstabbing,
Hmm.
the
Yep.
you know, then you realize the haters and like
Oh my God.
You're
But
starting to realize
the
everything.
it,
the
it
social dynamic changes. It's like
it's not an
so I
everyday.
think that changes on.
It's not an
No,
everyday thing. It's a big family gathering because it's the holiday season. But like, guys, especially for our
but
listeners,
that's when you're forced to that's when you're forced to
it,
recognize those social dynamics that you hid is
it's true.
during the holiday.
But I would say like don't let that interfere with you being around family or loved ones, right? Like
Mhm.
sometimes you just gotta suck it up. As stressful as it can be mentally and emotionally, sometimes you gotta fight them or whatever. Just suck it up because you're in the moment. You never know.
Just that.
Tomorrow's never promised. You never know what's gonna happen with your family, loved ones. Knock on wood that nothing ever happens. But like we also
Mhm.
put that to the side. So again, I never even thought about that perspective. As we get older, yes, we start to notice the changes around the
The
environment.
changes. Yep.
To notice the changes around the environments.
We start to be the ones that's hosting the gatherings and
Oh
stuff
God,
like that.
But like
Trying to get everyone
maybe
together.
holidays, maybe holidays were kind of always also that thing where like these kinds of things get brought to the surface and settled. Like a holiday where light triumphs over darkness. Maybe that is the time where these family, arguments happen and things that weren't said get brought to the
Mhm.
surface and said. Maybe that is therapeutic too, even though it brings a lot of,
tension.
that tension.
That
Yeah.
tension. Hopefully, it gets resolved and no one's fighting and not talking to each other where things get awkward. Uh, I think
You
that
start drinking a little too much and the truth comes out.
things start spilling. I know this is very out of topic, but the best memory I had was when I was a kid and we all went to Peru to celebrate Christmas with my grandparents and my uncles and stuff. And in my mom's side, like her brother that passed away a couple of years ago, I would say he wasn't like the weird piece to the puzzle kind of thing. He was just very different. But it's like you couldn't tell because everybody was there to celebrate. People were dancing, even out in
Mhm.
the streets in the neighborhood. Like the neighborhood, there's a lot of tension around neighborhoods because of properties and stuff in Peru. I won't lie. It's a big, but it's like everybody forgot about that. People were like blasting fireworks, hanging out,
Mhm.
laughing. It was just it was something I've never seen before because obviously like I was born and raised in Canada. So to see that
Mhm.
Yeah.
first time, it was so cool, right? I was able to play with all these kids I've never met. It was as if you've known them for so long, right?
It was like a neighborhood gathering.
Yeah, it was like it's a memory that will like I'll never forget. I'll never
Hmm.
forget because even as I get older, I do understand, and from what you guys were explaining, like the dynamic, the politics, whatever. As I got older, I started to understand how much was going on in the back end. But I'll always remember like how they just let that go. No one was fighting. Not that day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Here for the family, for their kids,
Everyone was enjoying the
and
time.
taking the
In
time.
the moment, as you said, everyone's in the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think my mom talks about it when she was young, the Diwali festival, the Festival of Lights, lanterns, candles, fireworks, how everyone was in the street and all celebrating. And there's different, religious ideas in India, and they all have like a shared winter celebrations that they all have their own versions of. But I think the commercialization, the hustle and bustle that have to get the ticket, have to get the flight, have
Mhm.
to get on time. I hope that package gets here on time. I got to get the decorations. I feel like that takes so much time and energy that in a way it took away that uh, community street festival almost, which
That
still happens,
excitement.
I'm sure, in a lot of
What
places.
you're
But
saying.
yeah,
Mhm.
because everywhere people used to do that. Everyone would go out into the streets and everyone would celebrate the holiday with everyone else. Now, everyone celebrates it with their families behind closed doors, and that's about it.
And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
as I got older, I realized like, man, it just seems quieter. Like
quieter
nobody's
Everything.
and
nobody's really doing anything together anymore. It's
that or
like,
the excitement from other strangers. I don't know if you ever remember like going around the grocery stores and stuff like that. And people are like, Merry Christmas.
yeah.
Yeah,
The
getting that no more. We're
neighbors would knock on the door and stuff like that. It's
we are
none
exhausted.
of that no more.
So again, so these are some common causes that we talked about. Well, what we're currently discussing about the holiday stresses and stuff like that. So just like a mini tip for everybody is just like enjoy the moment. Be
Mhm.
there, family and friends. Any drama that's happening with whoever it is that's around you, like put that to the side. Put that
Yeah.
to the side. Next one now. So this is the one that causes stress for everybody is time management and setting boundaries. So because there's so many gatherings and everybody wants to celebrate, whether it's work, friends, family, your significant others, I don't even know, man.
Mhm.
People have a hard time saying no. And
Yeah.
let's discuss this, please. Like, what are some tips that we could give for people who have a hard
Well,
time saying no?
People pleasing.
that's
Yes,
that's
because
one thing I want to
for
point
one,
out because you were mentioning putting things aside and
mhm,
like letting things go. Obviously, there's situations where that's not the case, and family has to kind of mind their own business to a degree. But I do think your family is also what you want to make it. So maybe you're not going to spend this Christmas with your mom, dad, uncle, whatever.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean your friends, your neighbors, the people that are in your community aren't the family you could celebrate with. I don't think we should only think of only one group or one way of celebrating because I do think you have to set boundaries naturally, you know. Um, I can't imagine how some families must be in such terrible situations where if you don't set a boundary and just try to go with it, it could lead to like catastrophe, on the holiday.
And
So
end up
I
being
respect.
taken advantage of, you know?
Mm-hmm.
that I
Yeah,
understand.
it's yep. You don't set the boundaries, it's gonna take advantage of you. Or you're gonna do something that you're like, I don't want to do it, but doing it anyway. And then you after you already done it, it's like you feel guilty or you regret it, but you don't want to say anything because you already done it, you know?
Hmm.
You knew it'd go wrong,
Yeah.
and it goes wrong.
So with
Yeah.
Yeah.
that you guys are mentioning, what would you tell the listeners or viewers if they're going through a situation like that, or if they're feeling like I don't want to go to this gathering, but I don't know how to say no because I don't want to hurt that person. Like what is an advice that you would give them?
Be honest and just be honest and be upfront about it. Because if you don't feel comfortable and you go there and then you're like You go there, you may go there with an attitude, and or you don't feel like talking to nobody, but you're there, and it's just like you're just setting the mood off. So I say just be honest, be upfront. If you don't feel comfortable or you just feel like an off vibe, don't go. I'm pretty hopefully they'll understand, you know.
That's
But
all.
I say your mental health comes first. And if you
Mhm.
don't feel comfortable, then you're just doing yourself a disservice.
What about you?
I mean, there's literally like a myth. There's a Hindu myth which is about this, but essentially to sum the whole point of that myth up is um you have to think about your respect, understand when people are inherently disrespectful,
Mhm.
and avoid the drama altogether because there's nothing to benefit from following formalities if people are not under the surface of those formalities genuinely following them. You know, if someone, it's like the Red Wedding in Game of Thrones kind of thing. Very similar ritual with like what happened with like Shiva and Sati, but you have to be careful when somebody's using the illusion of ritual and ceremony to trap you.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I get what you're.
So
So it's like basically for the listeners or viewers who are like, "What's Game of Thrones?" I sorry.
everyone knows.
I It's basically understanding or looking at the schedule and to see what's more important.
Mhm.
The people who bring the good
What's
vibes,
more healthy too? Yeah.
exactly. What's more
Yeah.
helpful, not causing you too much of a mental headache or anything like that. Because you're not wrong. There are certain people that use the type of season uh just for the drama, for the gossip and stuff. And growing up, that's something that I've noticed from a certain type of I wouldn't say a friend, but like an acquaintance. Like it's like a mutual friend from like my previous
Hmm.
friend group. Um, she was somebody that was a heavy gossiper that always had to bring drama and stuff. And to say no, I kid you not, to tell her no, I will not be joining for this one was a big thing. It was a big, like, but why? Like, I can do better. I can do this. It was crazy to get that kind of interaction from this certain person to
Hmm.
tell me that she can do better. I'm like, I never said anything. Like, I never told you that you were whack. I just said I participating for this gathering. Because what we
Hmm.
Christmas is do like the whole like white elephant kind of thing. It was like it was our tradition, right? Even throughout high school on a budget we would do it. But for her to have that kind of interaction, I was like, whoa, it has nothing to do with you. I just will not,
Yeah.
right? So it's I don't know, like from experience, I guess as a person, we also have to try and figure out if we ever have that interaction, what's your next step? How are you going to vocalize that? Like, hey, it's not you. Like, it has nothing to do with that.
Do with you.
You
Yeah.
like I just can't join for this one.
Hmm.
No, I definitely understand because, like I said, that person likes to bring the drama and gossip. The last guy
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
was ever involved, she was bad mouthing a certain friend of mine, and I didn't appreciate that. It just didn't make sense to me.
It
Right?
didn't sit well with you.
No,
Yeah.
it just didn't make sense. And then, you felt that tension between that person and the other. And then
Hmm.
it's the he said, she said. I'm like, oh my God, we're sitting in a room together. How is there already like a broken telephone over this conversation was crazy to
So
me.
much drama.
Mm.
It was too much. I would say for the people who have a hard time, like with their time management, because again, there are people out there who are just social butterflies. They have friends,
Yeah.
or they have large families and stuff. I know looking at your monthly calendar, you're like, damn, I have to do this, and this, and this. Where do I have the time for this, and that? It can be overwhelming. But if anything, perhaps try and find a way where you're looking at this calendar and you just got to see like what makes more sense. Who can give you like from what you guys are saying the healthy environments, the positive memories and stuff like that. And even if you
Hmm.
tackle everybody, there's always next month. You can always tell them, hey, I might not be able to see you during the holiday season, but for the new year we can hang out. It's not gonna
Yeah.
Buddy, it's not gonna hurt anybody at all.
Hmm.
But I think for us as humans, we just have that pressure of we just want to get everything done and please everybody. And that's not always
Yeah.
can't always please everybody. Just tell them, hey, next year. I mean, that's what I had to do like this week. I'm like, hey, guys, see you this month. I'll see you next month instead.
Next month, yeah.
Say, yeah.
Like, I
I guess,
think everyone has that. I got to get that house clean. I got to
yeah.
tidy up. I got to put the
Yeah.
decorations. I got to, these guests are coming. I need to arrange this and this. And we have too many guests. So those, hotels for these and those. It gets, it gets hectic. You got to juggle a lot of balls. You have to, keep track
It's
of a lot of things.
overwhelming.
Be a good planner.
Very
Overwhelming.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Good
You have
planner.
to be a
Good,
very good planner. Get help.
yes.
Split the tasks up. I know how control freaks in families will try to take the whole thing on their head. Don't do that. Um, Try to get help. And hopefully I don't think, I think one thing is no matter how clean your house is, they're always going to find a dirty spot. And no matter how
Yeah.
dirty your house is, a person who cares about you won't notice or care. So
You realize they
don't
say, well,
stress yourself.
I'm not even worried about that. Or they say,
Don't
I
And
worry.
didn't
you're
notice it until you brought it up, you know?
Yeah, like you're people your real friends and relatives, they want to come to see you and they get it.
Mhm.
Their houses are messy too. The people who are going to gossip are always going to gossip, no matter how pristine your house is,
Mhm.
you know? So don't stress yourself too much. I know the time crunch thing because we want to do so much in such a short time. I mean, some people start planning from like Halloween, so I don't know. Uh,
Yeah.
It's
Maybe that's what you got to do.
listen, I guess that major tip and as a joke kind of tip is like stop being social butterflies. Why can't
Yeah,
friends and family? Like,
be
Be
damn.
more
more
selective.
introverted.
Oh my God. So just as a recap before we continue on, I guess the one thing that we're all agreeing on is plan ahead. If you're a good planner,
Yes.
excellent. For those that are not good at planning, definitely ask for help. If you know you can't
Mhm.
do everything alone, like don't be afraid to ask for help. When it comes to this whole family gatherings, be selective as bad as as it sounds. Like I know in the beginning we said, when it comes to family and friends, you might have a member here or there that is a little bit toxic and just suck it up. But
Yeah, this quirky. Yeah,
if you're in a
I
gathering
understand.
where there's multiple people that's just like that's a bit off and you're not comfortable, just say no. Don't feel
Mhm.
guilty about it. It's your mental health, it's your memories, it's basically like we said, it's a holiday season and have fun and stuff like that. Why are we being stressed out to people please the ones who are very toxic? I don't
Mhm.
understand, right?
Or go to somebody that you're like really comfortable with, or, you know, and
Exactly.
talk to them,
Is there
hang
any
out with them.
is there anything else that we're missing from that conversation that we just had?
I think we got it.
We got it, right?
I think
Hopefully.
that's
We got
clear.
it.
Set healthy boundaries. Be realistic.
Yes.
Obviously, families have their quirks and their, dark sheep. That's okay to be in an environment where you might have to put up with someone you don't really care about. But um, obviously, set a boundary. Your respect is more than just putting up with someone who's a little annoying, or
Yeah.
difficult to be around, or someone who has different views or opinions. Someone who's genuinely trying to toxically target you. Yeah, just avoid that. That's not what the holiday
Avoid
is
it
about.
Hmm,
at all
Let the
costs.
light
Yeah, your
conquer the
mental
darkness.
health comes first.
exactly.
Always.
And if you
Yeah.
can't make every
Jeez.
gatherings during the month of December, there's always January,
There's
there's always
always January.
Yeah.
February. Your life is not gonna end. Like you got
Yeah.
It's still winter. It's still winter. And
Yeah.
like I said, all these winter ceremonies go from like August to April.
April. Yep.
So like there's always more time.
you guys are good. Like, and plus, like another thing is, listen, I know I tend to be a people pleaser. Like back then, it was hard for me to say no. Like I was always like a yes, 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 because I just wanted to see everybody happy. But it's just learning to practice. Maybe even look in front of the mirror or ask yourself your whys. Like, why am I like this? Why do
Mhm.
I get anxiety or overwhelming or whatever when I say no? Why do I feel guilty or whatever? Right? Took me a while to understand my whys. For me, it came down to like trauma or whatever, like trauma built up the people pleasing and stuff. But perhaps for like the listeners or viewers, it could be something very different. But you guys got to learn how to say no from time to time. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Gotta get strong. It's almost like it's one of the things a lot of people have to overcome is using their voice. That's actually one of the kind of courages you have to build is being able to just say what you actually want to say in a
Mhm.
situation.
But in a kinder way. Let's not be rude
Yeah.
about it. I know
Don't
it's the
don't
first
don't
one.
worry about what the other person's gonna say or think,
No,
or
I know we want to
you
say a
know.
lot to a certain type of people, but it's holiday season. Come on. So moving on now. So actually, what's funny? We actually tackled this one. Letting go of perfectionism. We actually
Mm,
talked about this because in this question was to discuss how realistic expectations can reduce stress. And then love stories. Holy shit, we just tackled two things in like
Well,
our
these are all interconnected. It's all like one, there's
one
all
is
one
gonna.
concept of anxiety and stuff, and like the insecurity of the holiday and accomplishment and comparison and time management and all that. It's all kind of like tied in with the winter holiday.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I just found it funny. I'm like, damn, okay, we already sorted that out. So just again, a mini recap for for those who are always trying to be perfect. Remember, ask for help, take a breather. Okay, plan ahead. If you know you're gonna be hosting, if you know you got gatherings to go to and stuff like that, plan ahead. Let me tell you, I have a friend who's already gotten gifts like during like way before October. Like she
Mm.
ahead. Every deal that she finds in the store and she knows her family very well, she's already grabbing it. She's already planning ahead. She's not rushing.
That's when everything's cheaper too.
It.
3 months in
That's
advance.
It's smart. It's a
smart
thing. Be
because
like,
everything will run out on Black Friday. Everything's gonna get
Yeah,
sold out.
yep.
and
It's
Cyber Monday.
when I hear her say, I already got a Christmas gift. I'm like, girl, it's not even winter time yet. But like I'm impressed. And it's always hiding in her closet. Like it's insane.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, like I guess okay, so we already tackled this one. Jesus Christ, yo, you guys, we're on a roll for this
On a
episode.
roll.
I mean, I'll just
We're
bring
doing
out this
good.
random side, but I saw this on like I think a British comedy show or something. But this mom cooks and does so much work for Christmas that she was charging all the people who came for a plate per plate.
At
She was
her
charging her family
She charging per plate.
for
damn,
yeah.
that's
I
insane.
remember seeing this. There's a whole debate about it. Like she's like, I did all this work, I did that. And there's a whole debate about like, is that right at all? I mean, I can see that being an adjustment if you're planning that hard, but
I mean, I can understand
I don't know.
in my perspective, I know this is off topic. Well, the conversation we're having is a bit off topic.
yeah.
I would say, if I'm gonna be the one doing all the cooking, the hosting, just everything, right? Let's just say I never had any
Hmm.
help. I am doing everything. My expectation is that people are bringing some type of snacks. Maybe they're bringing other foods with them. But if
Their own cooked food, yeah.
no,
Yeah,
empty-handed with the expectation of like, oh, where's dinner? Like, whoa, no, 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 no.
bring something with you.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe this is why this woman's like, yo, pay up her plate because you guys are the kind of people that are not helping me out by bringing in, other.
Maybe nobody got her anything, so that's why she's charging. So
In my family, we would all arrive well before the meal or well before the preparation of the meal. We'd all already be, getting off our flights and stuff. So like all the aunties and everyone would get together and cook together, and like the uncles or whatever would get together and like barbecue or whatever. But my family is like mixed, diets and stuff. But for the most part, we would all cook together. So I
Mhm.
get that. Doing all the work yourself for a holiday when you got like a family of like 12 people.
It's
Yeah, I can sort of understand charging for a plate. I don't know the I couldn't do it. I couldn't ask for it myself.
so
But
fucking, yo, people are just, man, I'm telling you, like ever since after that pandemic, like we're gonna be
everything changed during the pandemic.
expensive. It's cheap, man. It's not cheap. Groceries not cheap.
nothing's cheap. Yeah.
Nothing is cheap.
Uh-oh.
So
Even like used cars is
if,
like
if I was
expensive.
if I was
In
her,
America, it's gonna get worse next year, but you
Oh my goodness, I'm not ready.
gotta move to Canada.
I was gonna I was gonna say, no, don't come to Canada. That's a whole conversation for another time. But if I was
Trust me, I know, but it's not. It's probably better than it's
I was gonna say during her family gathering, you know how she's like charging people per plate? I would have just taken out my bills, like my receipts, put on the table,
Yeah.
and like go split it. This is all of the meals that you guys ate. Just split it.
Well, things like you got to bring gifts, you got to bring food, you got to lighten the load at least. Like in our family, everyone brings gifts and like stuff, and there's money gifts which kind of cover the expense. But like we help, we all cook, we all clean, we all like work together on the
Chip in on
meal.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Like
just
I always try to bring something during like
I
the holidays.
I think it's just crazy if there is a household or even a friend gathering or whatever that's not contributing. Like that would be very crazy for me because I guess we all come from like family traditions. We all come
Mhm.
from a different culture and stuff like that, right? That would be very crazy for me to hear one day if someone's like, yeah, like I did all of this, blah blah, blah, no one brought anything. I'm like, wait, what? Like why?
Yeah. Because
That
even if
sounds
I
like an
don't bring
unappreciated.
anything, I feel guilty if I don't bring anything. I feel like, dang, all this stuff
Oh
and
yeah.
I didn't bring anything.
It's
I
just
feel
this
guilty.
that person. Like, thank you for hosting, thank you for
Yeah,
decorating, for doing this, for planning, for waking up early, blah blah blah.
yeah.
Favor and give you some like let me help out too, you know?
Let me help you clean up at
Yeah.
least.
Oh my oh my God. So again, like I guess we tackled the time management and letting go of perfectionism. So
Yeah.
forward. The next topic in this whole episode is about stress management and self-care. Is there anything that you want to provide for our listeners or viewers during this holiday season? Like anything you want to give them, whether it's like an affirmation, maybe something that you
Well,
learned and you want to share.
I was, I do want to say that like through the research I did about the holidays, the winter solstice rituals and whatnot, um, we're talking about family get together and warmth and community and stuff, and that's a huge aspect of it. But one thing we have to, I think, remember is these winter holidays, one of their main things was light defeating darkness. It could have been the Devi in Hindu ritual. It could have been lantern festivals, but ultimately in all the myths, it's about a kind of wisdom overcoming ignorance. So I think that's
Mm.
one thing we should really try, which we have the New Year's resolution concept to a degree, but I think what we should maybe sit down in this winter holiday and give ourselves a some credit for one kind of thing that we may have overcome, one kind of wisdom or intelligence or growth we accomplished this year. And we should also look forward and see like what kind of ignorance or things am I not acknowledging or admitting or facing, and what should I do to overcome them and be, progress into a better person next,
Get
time
better
around
at
by
it.
the time I reach.
Yeah.
Yeah, get better or become better, more
Hmm.
peaceful, more kind, more reasonable, whatever you want to do. But try to find that light or that warmth or that inspiration, that hero within you, and conquer that darkness, that demon, that, you know, hold. Conquer it and grow. It's the camaraderie and community and warmth is one aspect, but a big aspect of these winter rituals was stories of light overcoming the dark. And I think we as a whole world, if we could like focus on that as well as people, it would only lead to better things.
I actually like that though, because
I
I
do
feel
like that. Yeah.
like that's a common thing that we do during like Christmas holidays and stuff. I feel like when we are doing gatherings, maybe we have the expectation of when we're around people that will help solve our issues. And sometimes that's not the case. So I guess like for the people listening or watching is perhaps focus on yourself. Like everything that he
Mhm.
mentioned, do that before going to these gatherings and stuff like that. Yeah, no, I've never heard about like those rituals, like the whole
Rituals. That's the first time I'm hearing about those
it's
rituals too. It's
like
interesting.
mhm.
Yeah.
Well, it's part of the festival lights we have is the triumph of like good over evil. There's different versions of it, but in India, but it's about a goddess defeating like I think four-headed demon of ignorance or something like that. I have to find the ritual. There's a Dashera one, which is like the in northern India. So But ultimately, it's about conquering ignorance and conquering darkness and evolution, essentially, evolution of our species, ourselves. And like you said, it's nice having the warmth and the comfort of our community, but look for the fire within, look for the light within you, look for the guru within you, look for the guide within you. Because you're the one who's ultimately going to change your life. And you have the power to do that. You don't have to seek external forces.
You know, it would be dope though, while people are having these gatherings, maybe during dinner time, they can all express like that one win that they've accomplished.
Hmm.
That one goal that
That
they got.
that would be beautiful to listen to their stories and stuff because
Yeah.
that's where conversations happen. You get support. Maybe you're gonna hear maybe like you never know, like maybe you're gonna hear something from a family member giving you something so positive that you've never expected before. Like there's gonna be waterworks, you know what I'm saying?
That
But
one
Hmm.
person that can help you, you never know because you didn't say anything. But now
Mhm.
that you said something, that one person can like, okay, I can help you with that. I've been through that. Let's
No,
talk
I
about it.
actually like that we talked about the history of the holidays because again, it's especially living here, I'm pretty sure the same thing in the US, but living in Canada,
Yeah.
we're just bombarded with holiday music, holiday themes, like the stores is everything, this, and this. Like we're forgetting about what the true meaning of Christmas is all about.
Yeah. You kind of forget
Hmm.
everything. You kind of just think it's all about like gifts and, family and traveling and stuff. And
Yeah.
like over here, this Saturday in New York City, they got something called SantaCon where people dress up as Santa and get drunk and just party. And it's basically like a big convention all over the city. And
Santa
it's,
convention is a wild.
I mean, the whole history of even like the Santa myth and how it
SantaCon.
connects to
Yep.
The Yule festival of Norse mythology and the symbolism there with the reindeer and stuff. I think if we have a bigger perspective of the holiday, we'll go back to the roots, which are our ancestors from time immemorial connecting to the world and the season and the universe around them. And they anchored several points in celestial movements of both weather on Earth and, astrological movements of like stars. They pinpointed and anchored certain holidays, which for thousands of years, their descendants will always be able to celebrate and remember them through. And I think that is the most important part about this, is to remember that this is a way for all people all across the world to come together and celebrate the larger aspect of life in the universe around us. And we shouldn't get bogged down in our small commercial, cultural context of that holiday today, which might not be one that really fulfills us. But if we look at the bigger picture and see the bigger thing, you can realize that you don't have to look at what's on social media or what's on, the Christmas movies or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or Diwali, whatever you celebrate. Just look out the window and like that, everything happening in the nature around you is what we're celebrating since before people could even, write it
Be
down.
more be
So,
more present and look around you and see all the good
But
that's around you.
step out the matrix, basically.
Yeah. Go
Where
outside.
yeah. And
step out of your mental drama. That's what my guru always says. Step out of your mental drama, the soap opera in your head, and just experience life. It's beautiful.
Go
It's not
for a
all that
walk.
drama.
no,
Oh,
but it's different perspective. I think I might put this to the test for family gathering this Christmas. Is just sit down in this little table that I have and ask my family members like, what's one thing you've accomplished this year? Like, what's one thing you're proud of
Mhm.
this year? And see if that changes the environment and the tone of what the other past years have been like. Maybe the
bring
spark
more joy.
I might come back with.
Like we could set, like you were saying, we could talk about our own accomplishments, and we could, share about the people around us. Like, I want to say that, like, my to my friend who accomplished this at work, or to my, you know, relative who quit, this bad habit. It's also nice to share that on the holiday if we could.
Okay.
A nice
Anything else that
ritual.
you want to include for this episode? Because yo, like we wrapped this up real quick. I'm surprised.
Oh, it's already it's almost
I guess
8:30 already.
if you want to like share your own rituals, it's up to you. But I know like in our ritual, the Diwali ritual, we celebrate the return of like a prince called Ram who defeats this kind of like demon king called Ravan. And there's like a whole, romance, action romance there about him getting his princess, his queen back from him. But the main thing is Ravan has 10 heads because of like this ritual he does. Each of those heads represent a form of ignorance that human beings possess, a form of ego.
Okay.
Like you got a big head. So I think that's one of the things that we celebrate in the Festival of Lights is like conquering the many different ignorances we have. Because we talked about like toxic relatives, toxic friends, things about the holiday which might have, gone wrong or gone too commercial. I guess that's one thing we practice from now on is like killing those ignorances in ourselves and defeating those things during the holidays and building better habits. I don't think it's always about, hitting the gym in January. That's not the only way we can do that.
That's
Again,
another
just
commercial
changing the
thing.
way you think about
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that is. If you really think it is. And we
Another
all go to the
commercial
gym.
thing.
Konami's all about, wellness and self-improvement. But look deeper and like even the simplest changes in yourself, like being nicer to people. I think that's one thing that
Mhm.
I'm trying now more so. It's just don't get angry. Just be nicer with people, even if you have a reason to not be nice.
Well, actually, speaking of nicer, it's we're in that holiday rush, that end of year rush, and some people are too caught up in their bubble that they don't understand their own attitude when they are talking to another person. That's something that I had to learn being a massage therapist is that how I explain is like they they received garbage and they're trying to dump garbage to another person and it becomes a domino effect. So whenever someone
Yeah.
room and they have an attitude or whatever, only question I ask is, hey, is everything okay? Are you finding yourself being more of an overthinker, this, and that? And then that's when they start to tone down and they apologize and say, oh, it's just been so busy, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I get it. We're pretty busy too. Just a reminder, it's not just you, it's everybody else.
It goes back to planning, time management.
Exactly. Time. If you're a perfectionism, ask for help. You'll
Yeah.
express and don't bottle things up. See how
Just like yesterday, trying to do
Yeah.
everything at once.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to squeeze everything in one
Therapy.
day.
But it's
No,
just
but like seek therapy. Talk to someone. That also helps
Mhm.
around.
or just come to our Discord
Let
if
it out.
you want. We don't
Yeah. Invent. Go to Konami. Invent mental health.
just do that. But
It's
no,
it's in modern times it's easier to be rude to people around you than to open up and be vulnerable to people and say that you need something.
yes.
So
But I mean, let's try and build that domino effect. For listeners or viewers, if you guys are, especially in your workplace, maybe even school settings, if you're noticing that people are not how they usually interact as before, just understand that it is holiday season. It's at end of year rush. It's at I'm about to enter a new year. Like people get stressed. People, I wouldn't say become selfish, but they're in their own little world that they don't understand that their actions might affect another. Don't let it stress you out. It's not you. It's never you. But try and have that conversation. Try and still be gentle. Don't clash with them. Okay, because like we just talked about this, like from what we just talked about, the history of the holidays is about letting go, right?
Realize that next year is just another day. It's gonna be
Yeah.
another day. January
light your
1st
way.
is a new day.
Light
And
your own way, create your own warmth.
yes, create your own warmth. I mean, when we go to stores, when we go to restaurants and stuff, it's already warm and cozy. We might as well continue that. Self care, figure out your whys, self discovery. Come on, guys, let's do that.
Don't forget your why.
Don't forget your whys.
Yep.
Anything else that you guys want to include? Tips, recommendations, anything else?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
We hit everything. Yeah.
Just have fun. Have
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
blast. Have
Be
fun. New
yourself.
Year's coming.
Yo,
Be
fucking
Yeah.
yourself.
snow angels if there's snow out there, like play with snow.
Have a blast.
Even if
Oh,
Oh, fucking just be a kid again.
It's gloomy and depressing over here. It's no snow. It don't snow no more in New York.
Well, do something to
Um,
make fake snow. Something.
We
I
gotta buy snow
love that.
machines.
Love
Exactly.
all the seasons, love that Gotham atmosphere, that cold, wet, dank rain on like
Hmm.
the Gothic architecture with steam bellowing from sewer grates. Just love it.
That that
Love
sounds
that
like New York
background.
City.
but
Anyway, Batman.
love it all. Love
Pass it
that
over to
cold.
you,
Love
Batman.
that warm.
Oh my God.
Love it all.
Well, again, for listeners, viewers, listen, we are not professional therapists here. We are just speaking from our own experience. We try our best to give you any tips, recommendations, or even stories as much as we can. We just want to try and connect with you during like this current moment. But if there's anything else that you guys have gone through or actually talked to therapists and they've recommended you tips, whatever, feel free to comment. Let us know.
Yeah.
You can add that
Please
for
let us know.
posts and stuff.
I'm gonna read the
Jump over to the
comments.
Konami Discord. Yeah.
Come to our Kenami Discord. And our Discord
Yes.
Konami. Not we
We
are
need more active members.
just
We want to meet you. We want to get to know you.
yeah,
Yes.
share. In the future we
And
will sorry, I was gonna say in the future we
well, I
will
was just gonna say, we got Christmas movies on the Discord to join and like spend time.
yes.
Sorry,
Ooh.
Actually, yeah, that's too. So actually it's good that you cut me off to tell me that because what I was gonna say is in the future we will have professional speakers to talk more about this, if anything. We're trying our best. So hopefully in some ways this episode helped you out, change your
Mhm.
on a couple things, try and step out the matrix. Okay, let's not get too involved with bye. But yeah,
Mhm.
all right.
All
This
right.
guys, thank you so much for joining. I had fun.
Yes, I loved it.
that was a good
I gotta
chat.
do more of these. I gotta do
Yes.
more.
Oh, we definitely will. All right, take care, everybody. Happy holidays, happy new year. And
Konami strong.
yes, stay Konami strong. Try not to stress out, okay?
Yes.
Indeed.
Bye.
Smile more, stress less.
Happy holidays.
Bye, guys.